Welcome to the Ada K Show. I'm your host, Ada K, and I am a criminal justice major. I am also a deaf courtroom commentator, breaking down the gripping courtroom drama while providing full ASL interpretation, making justice accessible to everyone. Grab a cup of Java and let's dive in. Don't forget, comment, like, and subscribe. And if you love this channel, please become a member. Hey everybody, good evening and welcome to the Ada K Media and the Ada K Show. Hello honey. I think we do get some interesting testimony today. How are y'all doing? Yes, I took off the hearing aids. I've got my new ears in. It gives me a totally different sound. I sound more bassy, although I don't know what I sound like anymore. How are y'all doing? Miss Honey, are you there? Because I want to test something before we get going. I want to test something. Is that too loud? Let me know because I can adjust it. Let me know if you heard those, okay? Hi, honey. How are you doing? Oh my gosh, y'all. Everybody, it's Friday. Woohoo! Booyah! It's Friday. And I am so happy for Friday. But we got one more day of court to do. Oh, I literally just skinned in here, y'all. I haven't even fully set up. I skinned in here. I hope they have captioning. Do they? Yes, they do. Good. I really, by the skin of my teeth, got in here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day at work. It was kind of an odd day at work. I got things done, but don't feel like I got anything done, if you know what that means. And then the internet went down about 30 minutes before the end of the day. And finally, my boss said, y'all get out of here. And so we got out of there. We did good. All right, guys. My hair's a mess. Everything's a mess. Hello, hello. No sound? You couldn't hear that? You didn't hear breaking news. Well, I got to figure out what's going on then. That's weird. It's showing up on my monitor. Okay. All right. So let me catch y'all up for what's going on, what's happening today, what we're going to see. So, all right, everybody. Today is day 4 in the Plymouth Superior Court, and this one started outside the courtroom. Before the testimony even resumed for the day, the jury was taken on a site visit. Now, they walked through the Clancy family former home in Duxbury and saw the second floor window the prosecutors say that Lindsay jumped from and viewed the basement where Patrick Clancy found his children. A Boston defense attorney explained the rules on the visitation were very strict. Hello, Rico! Attorneys can only point jurors towards something to look at. They can't narrate. They can't tell them what it means. Once everybody is back in the courtroom, the day picked up right where Thursday left off. Now, I want to explain a little something. The jurors went in 6 by 6. They did not go in like one big group piling through. They took them in 6 by 6. They could point. They couldn't say anything. They also, I think, went by the restaurant and drove by CVS. So, doctor took the stand again. Testimony tears. Her shoulders were shaking. One of them was Dr. Benjamin Kaufman. Treated the baby that night and testified. They were able to get his heart beating again, but he didn't survive. Now, let's have a quick refresher on the case for anyone who's tuning in for the first time. Clancy is charged with first-degree redrum of the death of her 5, 3-year-old and 8-month-old children. I'm not saying their names. Prosecutors are arguing the killings were calculated, and the defense says she was over-medicated and in extreme postpartum psychosis. After the doctors, the jury heard more from first responders who encountered Lindsay Clancy at night. In total, 10 first responders have testified by the end of today. And on that timeline, the judge said Friday, the case is actually running ahead of schedule. And that's where we stand after 4 days. Now, stick with me. We'll break down what this jury's views mean strategically, and the doctor's testimony could mean for both sides. The courtroom belongs to everyone. Yes, it does. And that's where we're going to start. So let me get this queued up and get this going. Let's see what happens here. It is going to be a short day, y'all. It is not a long day.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Counsel, before
they have no volume.
We've got the view on for
That
today.
is on there. So they went back to that.
Question: Is any member of the jury
Do y'all have
read,
volume,
seen,
or
or
is it just me?
overheard anything
I
from
don't
any
have volume
source that
on
would affect your
anything.
ability to
Hold
be a
on.
fair and impartial juror in this case?
There it is.
All right. Well, next question is there any other serious matter or concern bearing on your service as a juror in this case? Anybody needs to bring to my attention? All right. So again, thank you for following those instructions. And so what I want to do is just talk a little bit about the next part of the trial, which is the view. All right. You hear people talk about it. Now, I already kind of blew my cover when I said I couldn't control the weather. I would have taken credit for the fact that it's a beautiful day today, but I already told you I couldn't control that. So, but a view. So let me explain kind of what a view is. Give you this very brief instruction in regards to that. Members, the jury, you're about to visit and go by a number of places that you've heard testimony about during the trial. Right? And the terminology we use for that, as I've said, is a view. Now, the purpose of the view is to help you better understand the evidence that you've heard and will hear during the trial, and to help you appreciate the location, the surroundings about these different areas. All right, now, the view that you're going to take is part of the case. The observations that you make while on the view may be used by you and considered by you in your deliberations in reaching a verdict. So you can consider what you're about to see during the course of the view. The places that we're going to go to in this case, we're going to drive to the CVS that was described. We're not going to get out, but we're going to see where that is. Then we're going to drive by that restaurant, 3V, I think it's called, in Plymouth. So we're going to drive there. Then we're going to go back to the home, which is at 47 Summer Street. And you'll have an opportunity to go inside the house. You'll go in there with the court officers, the lawyers, myself. And because we've got a large jury here, what we're probably going to do is break it up into maybe 3 groups of 6. All right, so we'll take 6 and we'll all go down, we'll look at different areas. The attorneys will point out certain things that they may want you to take note of, but you can look at everything as far as just viewing. When you're in there, you're not to do any independent research, you're not to kind of open up drawers or open up doors or anything like that. So the attorneys will give you an opportunity, and we'll give you an opportunity to just kind of look around and view that. And so after that, you're not to return.
I'm surprised he didn't say that we need to respect the home because the home no longer belongs to this person and that there's people living in that home, I believe, if I'm not wrong. It's my understanding.
To the scene. In other words, after you do this, you're not to go back if you have these unanswered questions or anything like that. You're not to go back. This is your chance to see these areas in this residence. All right. Like I said, you can consider what you're about to see as part of the evidence in the case. Now, during the trip to and back from these places, you're not to discuss the case or anything about it amongst yourselves or with anyone. When you're coming back, you're not to discuss on the bus, hey, we saw that, or did you see this, things like that. That's, as they say, that's verboten. All right, you can't talk about that on the way to and from.
They can only discuss those matters. They can only discuss anything only when they've been handed the case, and all 12 jurors, or 12 plus the alternates will be separated. But all 12 jurors are in the courtroom, the jury room, and they are permitted to deliberate. But up until that point, that he can't even discuss this.
And so, as I indicated, you're going to be under the supervision of the court officers. I'd ask you to follow their instructions carefully. They're very experienced in doing these, and so they'll help you kind of go through this and set up, break up into those groups. And so, just so you know, the one group of 6 will go into the house, the others will stay on the bus. Okay, and when you're on the bus, you're not to discuss the case either. Geez, I can't wait to see this or that. None of that. All right, it's probably pretty obvious, but I just kind of have to kind of go through those instructions with you. And so what we're going to do now, I'm going to excuse you so you can kind of get yourselves together. We'll bring you back down on the bus. Myself, the attorneys, will join you there, and then we will. I think we're going to go first to the CVS in that restaurant first, and then second we'll go to that address in Duxbury. All right. Okay. Thank you.
So now we're going to zoom.
I got ahead of myself. I'm told we have to swear in the court officer, so I apologize.
Will the court officers please come forward and raise their right hand? Do each of you solemnly swear that you will take this jury upon the premises in question and then suffer them to view the same or any property, place, or thing bearing upon the issue in this trial, as they shall think necessary, that you will not permit the parties to enter into debate within the hearing of the jury, nor any person to speak to them, unless it be Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Sprague or Assistant District Attorney Shannon Buckingham on part of the Commonwealth and Attorney Kevin Reddington on part of the defendant, and they only to point out such places and things that they deem expedient for the determination of the issues, and that you will keep this jury together until they shall return to the court unless the court shall otherwise order. So help you God. Thank you.
All right. So we can
She's good.
All right, please. Sure. Is this okay?
Based on your training and experience, feel the need.
I think they talked a lot. Let me go. They did a standby. We're not going to get a long day. Then they did lunch. Okay, I think they're back in the courtroom here. I like that clerk of court. That's hard for me to say. Clerk of court. I really like her. I think, boy, she's got it down pat. Unlike another clerk of court that we know.
Thank you for that. Ready for the jury? Como?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Defendant? All right. Let me bring the jury in.
I only think we have an hour here tonight, y'all. My daughter wanted me to, you know what? My daughter wanted me to come up, and it's a 2-hour drive to visit with her. But that was a 2-hour drive up and 2-hour drive home. Hey, Java Queen, howdy. Hello, love.
All right. Jurors enter.
Good to see you. You don't know who Lindsay Clancy is? The mom who unalived her 3 children by using exercise bands and strangulation, and then slit her wrist and throat and jumped out of the window of her second story of home and became paralyzed and is now being charged with her red room. And she is claiming postpartum psychosis, so she's claiming not guilty by reason of insanity. That's who she is. Yes, she's the defendant. She's in the
This court's
wheelchair.
now in session. Please be seated.
Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we return back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant and including all 18 jurors.
All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Members of the jury, we're now going to return, as I told you before, to the Commonwealth's case, and I'll ask the Commonwealth to call their next witness.
The Commonwealth would call Mark Anthony Maffio to the stand.
While we're waiting, you want to just add for the record, same objection and standing
All right.
objection, so
All right.
that keeps.
Come on. You come right here, raise your right hand for the question.
Good morning. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony in the evidence you should Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
Watch your step, please. Thank you.
All right, good morning, sir.
Your Honor.
All right. Attorney Buckingham, please.
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please tell the jury your first and last name, please?
Yes, Mark Anthony Maffio.
And how about spelling your last name for the purpose of the record?
Maffeo.
And where are you employed, sir?
Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a police officer?
12 years.
And has your career been with the Duxbury Department, or do you work anywhere else?
I worked in Rockland and Cohasset prior to Duxbury.
So how long have you been at Duxbury Police?
9 years.
9?
Yes.
What's your current rank or assignment at the Duxbury Police Department?
Patrol Sergeant.
And I'm going to draw your attention back to January of 2023. What was your assignment then?
A detective.
Were you working on January 24th of 2023?
I was not. I was called in to work.
Okay, so who contacted you?
At the time, it was Detective Sergeant Jamali.
And is that the normal course in Duxbury when a larger incident or investigation occurs, that sometimes you'd be called in to work a scene if you're not on shift?
Yes.
And Detective Jamali, where did he tell you to go?
Initially was reported, I believe it was 42 South Summer Street in Duxbury.
And so do you recall if you went to that location?
I did.
When you arrived there, was the scene still active, meaning there were still kind of ambulances and everything on scene?
Yes.
Did you go into the house?
Not at that time, no.
Were you advised when you arrived on scene that one of the parties was being sent to the South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
And so as a result of that information, what did you do?
I was then tasked with going down to South Shore Hospital.
Now, when you went to South Shore Hospital, did you know the party that was going to be transported there?
Yes.
Who was the party that you were going to meet?
I was advised it was one of the homeowners, Lindsay Clancy.
And you later became aware that the home at 47 Summer Street was the home of Patrick and Lindsay Clancy, correct?
That's correct.
And again, you were also later made aware that they had the 3 children.
Correct.
Were you advised of where the 3 children were?
Yes,
And how about the husband? Were you advised of where Patrick Clancy was?
I was.
As far as the people transported to South Shore Hospital, you came to learn that only Lindsay Clancy was sent to that location, correct?
That's correct.
Did you expect somebody else to be arriving there?
Initially, before I had left the residence, it was a little bit of confusion. They thought that the husband was also being transported to South Shore.
And at some point, were you later advised that that ambulance was turned around and sent to Beth Israel in Plymouth?
Correct.
So when you were at the South Shore Hospital, did you have an opportunity to observe Lindsay Clancy?
I did.
And what condition was she when you observed her at South Shore Hospital?
She appeared sedated and unconscious with several lacerations to her arms and neck.
Okay.
I have no objection to the photographs.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
I'm going to show you 4 photographs real quick. If you could take a look at those.
Yep.
Do you recognize the individual in these photographs?
I do.
And were you present when these photographs were taken?
I don't recall.
Okay. As far as the condition that the person in these photographs was in, do you recall this to be a fair and accurate representation of what she looked like?
Yes.
I would ask to move these as the next 4
All right,
exhibits.
those may be admitted.
110 through 113.
Sir, if I could just draw your attention to the screen, the side view. I'm showing you now what's been marked as Exhibit 110, and who is the individual depicted in this photograph?
Lindsay Clancy.
And those are the injuries that you observed that day of her on her neck?
Correct.
And showing you on the screen what's been marked as Exhibit number 111. Again, is that Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And the injuries that you observed on January 24th on her neck?
Correct.
And 112, Exhibit 112, in the middle of this photograph with an arm extended, there are some cuts and a cut in the middle. Did you observe those on January 24th as well?
I did.
And finally, Exhibit 113, that would be the other arm. Did you observe those cuts to that arm?
Yes.
Now, in addition to observing her at South Shore Hospital, did you do anything to collect potential evidence that day?
I did.
And what did you do?
I gathered, I believe they had been removed from the hospital staff, clothing, pants, shirt, I believe it was a scarf, and wedding bands.
Okay. May I approach again?
You may.
We're just going to show you 7 photographs. If you could take a look at those. Are these 7 photographs familiar to you? Are the items depicted in these photographs familiar?
Yes.
I'd move to admit these as the next exhibits, please.
Any objection?
I have no objection to any of the photographs.
They may be admitted.
Is it 117 through 120?
It should be 114, 7. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Reporter.
Now, sir, the items that you then collected, you said that they were provided to you. Who gave them to you?
It was one of the hospital staff.
Okay, and so in examining those, you would agree that those items had been cut off of the individual?
Correct.
And so after taking custody of those particular items, did other law enforcement arrive at South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
And who arrived?
Trooper Lawler from the Mass State Police and Officer Lepard from the Duxbury Police.
And again, you had been at the scene at 47 Summer Street, correct?
Correct.
And then you went to South Shore Hospital. Were other members of the Duxbury Department at the Summer Street address and at other locations during the time you were at the hospital?
I would believe so, but I'm not positive.
And were you aware that the state police had become involved in this case?
Yes.
And based on your experience as a Duxbury officer, do you sometimes work in tandem with the state police on certain types of investigations?
We do.
And so when Trooper Lawler arrived at the hospital, did you turn over these items to him?
I did.
Now, in the time that you were at the South Shore Hospital, did you have the opportunity to speak at all with Lindsay Clancy?
No.
In the time that you observed her, was she responsive at all?
No.
Was she in custody at that point?
I would say yes.
Well, let me ask you this. As far as when a person is placed in custody, you usually advise them that they are, correct?
I don't hear him saying that he's not sure. His answer was yes.
All right.
So I understand what the government.
Sustained.
When your department has somebody in custody, is it protocol to have an officer stay with that individual?
Yes.
And in this case, was somebody assigned to stay with Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
At the time you were at the hospital, was that your role?
Yes.
At some point, did someone else from your department come to keep watch?
Yes.
Who was that person?
I believe it was Officer Lepard. I know Officer Broderick was also assisting. I can't recall if he arrived at the hospital as well.
Okay, but you recall Officer Lepard?
Yes.
And once the scene was secured at South Shore Hospital, did you leave?
I did.
And where did you go?
Back to the address in Duxbury.
And that would be 47 Summer Street, correct? I think you might have said 42 at one point.
You're right. Yep. 47 Summer.
And at the residence at 47 Summer Street, did you assist other Duxbury officers in securing the scene upon the arrival of the crime scene services?
Yes.
Were you present when the Massachusetts State Police Detectives Unit executed a search warrant at 47 Summer Street?
I was.
And was that kind of later that night into the early morning hours of the 25th?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
All right.
Thank you.
Counsel?
Don, could I see the exhibits that were just introduced? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Morning.
Morning.
I've got a couple of other photographs that I'd like to, just since you were at the hospital at South Shore, if I could.
Sure.
Is that what Lindsay's condition was when you went in the hospital and saw her laying in the bed?
I don't recall those being on her leg, but I'm not 100% sure. But other than that, yes.
Other than that, yes?
Correct.
So I would offer that, Your Honor, if I could.
Any objections?
May we approach?
Sure, yeah.
I thought that was a little bit interesting. The judge asking, prompting, are there any objections? Do you know those little things you put your essential oils in and it's mixed with water and it kind of steams and makes everything smell good? That's what I just did. And then I dropped everything, so my apologies. My apologies, but I did it because I've been fighting a headache for the last couple of days. So I decided to put that in the air. It's a stress relieving, non-natural thing. Maybe it will help the headache. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think it's going to help the headaches? It's been a very low roar today, so I'm happy. I'm happy. Our mods keep things fair. Please stay respectful. We're discussing real cases involving real people. Yes. And I had the Cajun chicken pasta. I just inhaled it. So let's zoom. Leftover from lunch. I got to go have lunch with one of my workmates.
You at some point had a chance to take a look at her face, I imagine, sir.
Correct.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction?
Yes.
And she was unconscious at that point, was she not?
That's correct.
About for this job.
All right, that may be admitted.
And this, you said that there was some cuts on her wrist.
Yes.
That's a fair and accurate depiction.
Correct.
And cuts on the neck as well.
Correct.
And the other side, from the front.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Oh,
Those
I
photos may
did.
be
I
admitted.
did, Boo.
Thank you. And I'm just showing you another exhibit. This would have already been introduced into evidence, and this would be Exhibit 112. And this would also depict the area of the wrist. Is that correct?
Correct.
The cut was. Likewise, Exhibit 111 also shows the cuts on the neck. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, when you went to the house, you were a detective at this point, correct?
Correct.
And obviously, you're working in tandem at this time with the state police. They were also investigating, right?
Correct.
But you were the detective for the town of Duxbury.
One of them, yes.
One of them, okay. And one of the things counsel had asked you about was the clothing that Lindsay was wearing, and it was cut off, right?
Correct.
So I'm just going to show you and ask if this appears to be a fair and accurate depiction, rendition of, for example, one of her items of clothing.
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't know that, so I'm just going to just make sure it's in, that's all. Does that show that there's blood on that item of clothing?
Not that I see.
Okay. Was there some type of residue of paint or something on the clothing, if you recall?
I don't recall, no.
No? Did you notice on the pants any blood on the jeans? Well, if you recall.
I don't recall, no.
How about I guess it would be the top that was worn. Did you notice any blood on that?
No.
Was there a bra that was cut off, if you recall? So,
Yes, there was.
and the blood seeped through the clothing into the bra itself? Is that correct?
Correct.
And that would be obviously from outside the clothing and then into the bra that was being worn, right?
Correct.
These, Judge?
Any objection?
They're already in evidence. They've been marked, so I don't see that it's necessary to mark them again. They're the same photographs.
Well, I'll trust the representation there in evidence. I don't want to
All right.
vote the court. So if they're already in evidence, then that's good
I
enough.
just
for me.
submitted them through Sergeant Murphy.
But the bottom line is that you do agree that there was certainly blood on the interior and exterior clothing that she was wearing, right?
That's correct.
You'd also agree, sir?
Sorry, guys, I clicked the captioning and then it popped off. So here's the captioning again. That was a shirt that they had cut off that had blood on it. So that's what that was. All right, here's the captioning.
That there was blood in the area from the outside of the backyard directly underneath the window. Is that correct? Do you agree with that if you remember looking at it?
That is correct.
This way. The ground, the snow, and the leaves that were underneath, of course, there were a lot of people walking around, but you could see the blood
Correct.
directly underneath the window, right?
The back window.
You notice blood that was on the window sill itself on the second floor, one mark on that window ledge.
Yes.
You also noted blood that at some point had gone onto the two shingles that were in the area underneath that ledge, underneath that window, right?
Correct.
Get off of the blood on the floor, on the ground with the EMT documents.
No objection.
All right, that may be admitted.
Exhibit 126.
Thank you. Now, the state police went and got a search warrant, right?
Correct.
And you were there when they were searching.
Correct.
You guys were helping out, obviously, it was a group effort to search the house for relevant or material evidence, right?
Correct.
Now, one of the things that was seized were pill bottles, is that right?
Correct.
You know why they were seized?
I do not.
Did you seize any pill bottles?
I do not.
Were you there when the state police seized the pill bottles?
I was.
Do you recall that the pill bottles were seized from, for example, in the kitchen? You opened up a cabinet and They were right on, a bunch of them lined up on a shelf.
I can't attest to that. I wasn't present for that.
Why don't I ask you this? Where did they get the pill bottles from?
You'd have to ask them. I wasn't there when they seized the bottles.
You weren't there.
I wasn't in that room. We were in multiple rooms at a time.
So I may stand corrected. I'm sorry. If I thought I asked you if you were there when the state police was seizing the bottles, and I thought you said you were.
I was in the house, correct.
In the house, but
Yes.
you weren't there when they were seizing anything.
Correct.
How about up in the bedroom? Did you go up in the bedroom?
I did.
Did you observe the blood on the floor?
I did.
You observed when you went in the bedroom, it was very cold, right?
Yes,
Obviously, because the window was open, right?
correct.
And when you went into the bedroom, you made observations as a detective of certain items, such as, does this appear to be a fair, accurate rendition of the floor, blood drops on the floor?
It does.
In the bedroom?
Yes,
Is this a indication of the bed itself, the right side of the bed, additional blood that was located on the floor next to the boots?
yes,
Does this appear to be the nightstand that was next to the bed?
it does.
And do you see what's on top of the nightstand?
Yes.
What's on top of the nightstand?
There's 2 cups, a knife, it looks like a jar or something, and maybe a clock.
Okay, also blood drops?
Correct.
This is a additional photograph moving farther down towards the right side of the bed.
Correct.
This is a close-up of the knife that was on the nightstand, as well as the little cup that was there, and something that says deep sleep pillow spray. Do you see that?
Yep.
And that was on that top of the furniture, correct?
Correct.
And this again is an area depicting various items of clothing. It looks like a little headband, a wire, perhaps to charge a phone, and blood on the floor.
Correct.
And this shows the location of the bed. Additional photograph of the blood towards the end of the bed, and also the area of the window, right?
Correct.
Okay. What off of these, Judge?
No, back to that photograph.
Can I see counsel in regards?
Any further investigation on this matter as far as seizing evidence, except for what you testified to, right?
We did seize, I located a laptop in the hallway closet,
Okay,
and that was, I believe, seized by the state police as well.
okay. Anything else you recall? How about, do you remember, you guys were searching, you watched the state police searching, did they open up bra to the nightstand that was next to the bed with a number of pill bottles in it?
Again, I wasn't present when that was taken, so I can't attest to
How
that.
about Apple Watch, no?
I don't recall.
Thank you.
Attorney Buckingham, can you redirect?
Just briefly. Sir, when you were at the hospital with Lindsay Clancy, with the defendant, were the medical staff in the emergency department actively treating the wounds to her neck and her wrists?
No, they were not.
And when you came back to the home at 47 Summer Street to secure the scene and wait for crime scene services, nobody went into the house that didn't need to be there before crime scene services, correct?
Correct.
In your experience, is that normal?
Yes.
And so were you present when any of the photographs that were shown to you by defense counsel were taken?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So your testimony today about those photos is your best memory of what the scene looked like at that time?
Yes.
And as far as your role in the search warrant execution, fair to say there were quite a number of state police, Duxbury officers, as well as crime scene troopers on scene in the house during that. And each person, did they have their own kind of role in what they were doing?
Correct.
And did you kind of stay to your area?
Yes.
And you indicated that you only found a laptop in the first floor closet, correct?
Correct.
And so any of the other manners in which the rooms were searched, you were not a part of?
Correct.
Thank you. Nothing further.
You didn't have to stay to your area as a detective in the Duxbury Police Department, did you?
Correct.
So you were able to go and assist with the search and go into the different rooms and look for potential evidence, right?
That's correct.
And do you remember approximately how many Duxbury police officers were in or about the house, either outside, on the porch, on the deck, in the house, downstairs, upstairs?
I don't.
Would it be more than 10?
No, I wouldn't say more than 10.
How about state police? You remember how many there were of them?
No.
So all told, when you consider that, the sheriff's department wasn't there too, were they, if you recall?
No,
Okay.
they were
Sometimes
not.
they send them to take pictures.
No.
I don't know if they, okay. Would you agree that there were probably more than 10 officers from state police and Duxbury police that would be doing this investigation?
Correct.
All right. A number of police cruisers, and then you have perhaps, just asking, the yellow tape,
Yes.
crime scene, don't pass it and all of that?
Correct.
Now, if I was, for example, to show up and pull up in my car and get out, and they're not going to let me wander in the house and look around, are they?
Correct.
I mean, that's just for law enforcement officers only until they clear the scene.
Correct.
That's after they execute their search warrants and find whatever evidence is relevant, in their opinion.
Correct.
That they seize, right?
Yes.
Once the scene is clear, then people are able to go back into the home, right?
Right.
And you don't know, I would imagine, when they cleared the scene.
Correct.
Thank you, that's all we have.
Anything on that?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your
Step
Honor.
down. Thank you. Attorney Buckingham.
Oh, Richard Lepard.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Can you start right there, raise your right hand for the record?
Good afternoon, Ms. Williams, sir. I'm just wanting to let you Okay, sir, you may have a seat.
Oh, please.
All right, good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, sir.
All right. Attorney Buckingham, please.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name?
Richard Lepard,
And can you spell your last name for the record?
Lippard.
And how are you employed?
I work for the Duxbury Police Department.
And how long have you been a police officer?
6.5 years.
Have you worked for Duxbury the entire time, or did you work someplace else?
The entire time.
What's your current assignment at the Duxbury Police?
Patrolman.
Back in January of 2023, were you also on patrol then?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working the day of January 24th, 2023?
Yes.
At some point while you were on shift that day, were you asked to assist in an ongoing investigation for an incident that occurred at 47 Summer Street in Duxbury?
Yes, I was called back in.
You were called back in?
Yep.
Had you finished your shift?
Yes, ma'am.
And so where were you asked to go?
To the police department.
When you came to the police department, where did they direct you to go as far as the investigation went?
South Shore Hospital in Weymouth.
And so when you arrived at South Shore Hospital, was there already another Duxbury officer there?
Detective Mafia was there.
Okay. And what was the purpose of you going to South Shore Hospital?
To overwatch the person in custody.
Okay. And did you learn who that person was?
Yes.
And fair to say that individual was a woman by the name of Lindsay Clancy, correct?
Yes.
What were your observations of her when you were at South Shore Hospital?
She seemed to be sedated, not speaking or anything on the hospital bed, just laying there.
And excuse me, when you were there, or during the time that you were there, did you ever have any conversation with her?
No.
Did she remain unresponsive during the time that you were there?
Yes.
And were you also there when somebody came in and took some photographs of her?
I do not recall.
Were medical staff tending to her during the time that you were with her?
Yes.
Where in the South Shore Hospital was this? The emergency department or someplace else?
Emergency department.
And shortly after you were there observing her, did she or did the doctors indicate she was going to be transported someplace else?
Yes.
Where was she going to go?
That she was going to be med flighted to the Brigham in Boston.
And other than yourself or other law enforcement and medical staff, did anyone speak with her at the South Shore Hospital?
No.
And when you, when she was transported to the hospital in Boston, did you go along with the transport?
Yes.
Do you remember how she was transported?
It was a med flight helicopter.
So you rode in the helicopter with her?
Yes.
And when you arrived at the Brigham in Boston, where did she go there?
She went to the emergency room.
Did you remain with her during that time period?
Correct.
And was there anyone else with you at the Brigham with her?
Officer Broderick.
And so the two of you were, what was your role?
Just to overwatch and stay with her.
At any point when you were with her at the Brigham, did she ever, was she ever awake or responsive?
No, not to my knowledge.
And how long were you at the Brigham with her?
About 15 to 16 hours.
Okay, so fair to say it was over the course of that night into the next morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Over the course of the night into the next morning, do you observe her medical status change?
There was some type of medical code during the nighttime. I'm not sure what it was.
Okay, but you were present in the room when that happened?
Yes, we were outside the room.
Outside.
Yep.
And the next morning, when your shift concluded, did somebody else from the Duxbury Police Department come and relieve you?
Yes.
During the time that you were there, did anyone besides medical staff or the law enforcement officers that you were with interact with the defendant?
No.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Reddington.
Morning.
Morning.
Afternoon. So, a young man working for the town of Duxbury, and you were detailed to the home initially, correct?
No, sir.
You didn't go to the house at all?
No, sir.
Okay, you went directly to South Shore.
Correct.
And when you were at South Shore, your purpose was to, as you say, overwatch. Well, that basically is she was in custody at that point, right?
Correct.
So one of your obligations is to, I guess, guard the unconscious person and make sure to do what? Just to stand there?
Correct.
Okay. And you did in the South Shore Hospital, right?
Yes, sir.
And you made your observations of her, bandaged or whatever, laying in the bed, and she was not conscious, correct?
Correct.
And at some point, the decision was made medically that they were going to have her med flighted to the Boston Hospital, Brigham and Women's, right?
Correct.
And that was by way of the helicopter.
Yes, sir.
And you had a helicopter ride into Boston with her, right?
Yes, sir.
You were overwatching her in the helicopter again, right?
Yes, sir.
She still had not gained consciousness at all.
Correct.
She wasn't talking to you or medical staff or anybody, right?
Correct.
She was already had the tubes and stuff in her mouth coming out, and she was bandaged up and wrapped up and basically laying down in the gurney in the helicopter, right?
Yes, sir.
So when she gets to Brigham and Women's Hospital, they bring her into the emergency room, right?
Yes.
And that room was loaded with equipment, boxes, wires, tubes, buzzing, beeps, lights, things of that nature, right?
Yes.
Life-saving equipment that was in there, right?
Yes.
Very small room, wasn't it?
Yes.
Kind of hard to maneuver.
There was enough space for the medical staff to maneuver.
All right. And how many police officers were overwatching the unconscious person while she was in the emergency room at Brigham and Women?
2.
That would be you and the other officer from Duxbury.
Yes, sir.
At what point did the state police officers arrive in the hospital?
I don't recall them coming to the hospital.
Did you ever see state police in the hospital?
Possibly at South Shore Hospital, but not in Boston.
So you're in Brigham and Women's, off of the helicopter into the emergency room for a day, is that correct?
Correct, 16 hours.
Did you go back there again after that day?
To South Shore Hospital?
No, Brigham and Women's Hospital.
No.
So you're limited to the time that you were there as to you and your brother officer were there in the room with her, correct?
Yes.
And a number of nurses and doctors, right?
Yes.
Fair to say it was chaos. It was like bedlam in that room, wasn't it?
Yes, very busy.
And you don't remember any other police officers? How about internal police officers from Brigham and Women's Hospital? Do you recall them being there?
There may have been security, but I do not recall.
So is it your testimony that you do not recall any other police being in that room or outside the room when you were there?
Correct.
Now, at some point, police were detailed, if you know, to sit outside the room to guard the door. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what were you guarding against?
Objection.
No, overall.
Anybody coming to visit?
Right, because nobody was allowed to visit, right?
Correct.
And then while you were there in the early morning hours, about 2:24 or something like that, there was, as you said to the jury, a code, right?
Yes.
And again, that kind of amped up the bedlam at that point, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
There were people running from all over, and you could hear on the microphone, code blue, with the room being identified, right?
Yes.
And that meant that she was dead or dying, right?
Yes.
She was chained to the hospital bed too, wasn't she?
I do not recall her being handcuffed.
You don't?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you recall when you left?
The Brigham, sir?
Yes.
The next morning around 10, from what I remember.
Okay. And you were relieved by who?
Officer Daly from the Duxbury Police Department and Officer Johnson from the Duxbury Police Department.
All right. So you've got two Duxbury police officers. And there, to your memory, were there any other law enforcement officers?
Not with them, no.
How about on their own? Did you observe other law enforcement officers come in that room or outside the room?
No, sir.
And then that was the end of your shift and you left?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. Counsel, anything further?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Please sit down. Thank you.
Commonwealth calls Dr. Mark Henowitz.
Just for the record, Your Honor, I'm just noting, I object to this with aggrieved circumstances and.
Do you want to go to sidebar?
Yeah, please. Would you?
For the record.
Mark Joseph Tenarowitz, MarkJosephTenerowicz.
And what is your date of birth, sir?
2/28/69.
What do you do for a living?
I was an emergency physician. I'm currently not acting as an emergency physician.
Okay. What do you currently do?
I do disability review for the state of Rhode Island.
And so directing your attention back to January of 2023, were you an emergency room physician at that time?
Yes, I was.
And where did you work?
Beth Israel Deaconess, Plymouth.
And could you briefly describe for the jurors your educational background and the training that you underwent to qualify to be an emergency room physician?
I did my undergraduate education at Trinity College. I did a one-year post-baccalaureate pre-medical program at Bryn Mawr College. I then got my medical degree from Brown University, and I did my residency in emergency medicine at UMass Memorial in Worcester.
And when you finished your education and training, did you work in emergency care after that point up until you changed positions?
I worked in emergency medicine from 1997 until May of 2025.
And directing your attention to January 24th, 2023, were you working in the evening hours that day?
I was.
And at some point in time, did you treat a child named Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
How did he arrive at the hospital?
He arrived by fire department ambulance.
And when he arrived, were you given a summary of his injuries by emergency personnel?
Yes.
What did you learn at that time?
I was told that he reportedly had been strangled and he was found without a pulse and not breathing.
And what observations did you make of Dawson yourself?
When he arrived, he had a breathing tube in. They had placed a device into the bone of his leg to give him intravenous fluids and medicines. CPR was in progress. He was not breathing on his own and he had no pulse and was not responding.
And after, strike that, did you observe any trauma to his body?
I believe there were some old appearing bruises on his legs and there was some ruptured blood vessels on his face.
And did you observe anything in the area of his neck?
Not that I can recall.
And what did you do to treat Dawson?
We continued CPR. We continued to give him IV fluids. We gave him doses of adrenaline to try and restart his heart. We confirmed that the breathing tube was in the right position. We eventually gave medicines to treat the presumed acid buildup in his blood. We gave him calcium to make sure that his heart would, if it started again, would beat effectively. And that's what we did.
And how did you go about making sure that the breathing apparatus was in place properly?
Basically 4 ways. We detected carbon dioxide.
Okay, so y'all didn't hear any of that. Not of what I just said. Nothing. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was just saying that I learned something new. I did not know that she had coded and they brought her back. That's interesting. Didn't know that.
In the air coming out of his lungs, which usually just comes from the lungs, I listened and could hear breath sounds. I looked with a video laryngoscope to confirm that the tube was between the vocal cords going into the lungs, and we did an x-ray.
And when you say you were hearing breath sounds, was that him breathing on his own or something else breathing for him?
That it was someone breathing for him, squeezing the bag attached to the breathing tube.
Okay. And so that the breath sounds you heard just confirmed that whoever was squeezing the bag valve mask, the air from that was going into the lungs and then carbon dioxide was coming out?
He was not breathing spontaneously.
Okay. And are you, while all of this is happening, are you continuing to assess him and his condition?
Yes.
And what were your assessments?
So we would stop periodically every several minutes to very briefly check to see if he was breathing on his own or if he had a pulse. And he was not at any point. At one point, towards the end of the resuscitation, I used an ultrasound to determine if his heart was beating effectively, and there was no evidence of that.
Okay. And based on your training and experience, at some point in time, did you make a determination that your efforts weren't going to be successful?
I did, based on the time from when resuscitative efforts started in the field by the paramedics and the time that we put in, and the fact that despite the best resuscitative efforts we could, the fluids, the medicines, the CPR, breathing for him, it did not look like his heart would ever start again.
Approximately how long did you and your team work on Dawson?
I believe we worked on Dawson about 40 minutes in addition to what the paramedics had done previously.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
At any point in time, did you try to use a defibrillator?
I did not.
And why is that?
He was unfortunately never in a heart rhythm that would have made defibrillation an effective treatment.
So your heart has to be in a certain condition for a defibrillator to even work?
Yes, there are 2 heart rhythms, basically equivalent of the heart, that if you use a defibrillator, you can restore a rhythm that makes the heart beat effectively. He was never in one of those rhythms.
And at some point in time, did you declare Dawson deceased?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall when that was?
I believe from my review of the records recently, it was at 1928.
In 1928, would that be 7:28 p.m.?
That's correct.
Thank you, doctor.
Mr. Reddington.
Good afternoon. You indicated that you observed what appeared to be older bruises to his legs, his lower
Yes.
legs? That like shin area? That is?
Yes.
And you also had an interosseous device, I think, is that what you said?
Yes, he did.
And that would require inserting a needle or something into the actual shin bone area?
Yes, into the tibia.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
All right. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
Please.
Almost will call Dr. Benjamin Kaufman.
Doctor.
Thank you guys for joining me tonight. It's a Friday night, and I'm so glad you're with me.
Good afternoon. It's almost clear that the testimony you may have issued should be
I do.
Thank you, sir. You may take a seat.
Watch your step, please.
All right, good afternoon, doctor.
Just for the record, Your Honor, I'd like to just note the same objection.
Same ruling.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
It's Benjamin Kaufman, Benjamin Kaufman.
And your date of birth, sir?
September 10th, 1984.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an emergency medicine doctor.
How long have you been doing that?
About 12 years.
Could you briefly describe for the jurors your educational and training background that qualifies you for that role?
Yeah, I went to Boston University for medical school, and then Kings County for residency training, and then Columbia for fellowship in global emergency medicine.
And where do you currently work?
Beth Israel in Plymouth.
And back in January of 2023, did you work there?
I did.
And specifically on January 24th, 2023, were you working that evening?
I was.
And while you were working that evening, did you treat a patient named Callan Clancy?
Yes, that was my patient.
And do you recall how he arrived at the hospital?
Yes, with the EMS, with CPR ongoing.
And is it typical that when EMS arrive with a patient, they give you kind of a summary or a rundown of the patient's condition?
It is.
And did they give you that rundown on Callan's condition?
They did. He, at the time, his heart had stopped and CPR was ongoing, and he was not breathing. He was receiving breaths by a bag valve mask ventilation.
And what did you do in terms of treating Callan?
So as soon as he came in, basically we put in a breathing tube, and we were able to get an IV established. The first thing that we do is give a dose of epinephrine, and in this case, you can look directly at the heart with an ultrasound, and his heart started beating after we were able to give that dose. At that point, we continued compressions, continued giving him breaths through the breathing tube, and Plymouth Hospital does not have pediatrics or the ability to care for that level of pediatric patients. So we're on the phone with Boston Children's Hospital, making preparations basically to get him to the more definitive care.
And about how long into your care of Callan did he regain a heartbeat?
Probably from the time that he got to the ER, maybe like 10 minutes or so, I'm guessing.
At any point in time, did he regain the ability to breathe on his own while he was in your care?
No.
Did you do any examination or testing to determine Callan's brain function?
So at no point did he exhibit any brain function. I'm not like a neurologist, so we are not the definitive person, but in emergency medicine, there's a scale called the Glasgow Coma Scale, which is generally from 3 to 15. There's different variations for pediatrics, but he scored the lowest, which basically is you're in a coma or have no brain response during the entire time that he was in my care.
So on that scale, the 3 to 15, 15, would that be someone who's walking and talking and acting normally?
That's correct.
And a 3, is that someone with no brain function?
That is correct.
And you testified that Callan was at a 3 when you treated him?
At no time during his care did he have any brain function that was evident on my exam.
And at some point in time, was it decided to transfer his care to Boston Children's Hospital?
Yes, we were in contact with him basically immediately, and then he was flown by helicopter to Boston Children's Hospital, and they the whole time the ICU doctors were on the phone reviewing the case and making recommendations.
And at any point in time, to your knowledge, from the time he entered the emergency department at Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth until he arrived at Boston Children's Hospital, was he able to breathe on his own?
No.
Thank you, doctor.
All right, counsel?
I have no questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, doctor. Attorney Buckingham.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth would call Melissa Archidepane.
Raise your right hand for the clerk.
After you solemnly swear that the testimony of the evidence you shall give to the court and the jury.
Take a seat. Watch your step, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Attorney Buckingham, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Could you please tell the jurors your first and last name?
Melissa Archidepane.
Can you spell your last name for the record?
Arcadipane.
And did you work for South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
And what was your role at South Shore Hospital?
My last role was a supervisor of the specimen processing department in the laboratory.
And do you still work in that role?
No.
Okay. Back in 2023, specifically January, were you in that role?
Yes.
And how long had you worked for, or have you worked for South Shore Hospital over the course of the years?
Over 20 years.
You said that you were the specimen processing supervisor?
Correct.
What are the general responsibilities for that role?
Overseeing the department where all of the specimens from within the hospital and even outside of the hospital will come in through that department to be received, checked, make sure they have orders, make sure they're collected in the correct tube.
And the laboratory at South Shore Hospital is responsible for processing blood samples, urine samples that come from other areas of the hospital, correct?
Correct.
So can you just generally tell us how a blood or urine sample would come from the emergency department at South Shore Hospital to the laboratory?
So in most cases, blood sample or urine will come through a pneumatic tube system from the emergency room. They'll put it in a tube, hit a button, and it will come over to the lab, which was across the street. And we would take it out of that canister and process it at that point.
And the specimens that are collected in a place like the emergency department are done by a nurse or technician who takes the samples, puts them in the appropriate vial or tube, and labels them, correct?
Correct.
And so when they come to you through that pneumatic system, what does your laboratory do with the samples?
Well, we check the sample, make sure it's labeled, make sure it's in the correct tube, and then we would process it.
And traditionally, would your laboratory receive several samples, meaning several vials of blood or urine from one patient?
They could, yes.
And as far as the orders for testing, you at the laboratory would only run particular tests that are ordered by a physician, correct?
Correct.
Does that usually consume the whole sample that you receive from the emergency department?
Not always, no.
And so would it be a common procedure that samples from a particular patient would be retained in case additional testing needed to be done?
Yes.
And working in the lab as the specimen processing supervisor, are you familiar with what is referred to as a preservation notice?
I am.
What do you know that to be?
So that is a notice that we would receive from a law enforcement agency asking us to hold specific samples for a particular patient.
And what would your laboratory do when you receive a preservation notice for a particular patient?
So the samples would be pulled aside, they would be put in a specimen bag, a copy of that preservation notice gets put in the bag with the samples, and it is put in a separate bin within the specimen refrigerator.
And the specimen refrigerator, is that a place that specimens are stored until they're either used or discarded?
Correct.
And does that preserve the specimen?
Well, they need to be refrigerated, so, but we separate those specimens that potentially could be needed elsewhere into a separate spot so that they don't get discarded.
Now, were you aware that a preservation notice had been served on South Shore Hospital for the blood and urine of Lindsay Clancy on January 24th, 2023?
I was.
And were those samples of blood and urine collected in the same manner you just described and put in a separate bin?
Yes.
And on January 31st, 2023, did you have the opportunity to interact with a trooper from the Massachusetts State Police?
I did.
And what was that interaction? Can you describe it to us?
He came with a warrant to collect the specimens.
And so did you collect the specimens that were labeled for Lindsay Clancy?
I did. Somebody had already put them in that bin in a bag, so I just went to the bin, retrieved them, made sure they were hers, and gave them to the officer.
And in fact, you handed over 6 vials of blood and 1 vial of urine to the trooper on that day, correct?
I don't remember the exact samples or sample type that I handed over, but I do know that I gave him samples.
Okay. And as far as your memory, you recall that you double-checked the ID label on the items to make sure that they belong to Lindsay Clancy, correct?
Definitely.
Okay. Nothing further. Thank you.
All right. Counsel?
No questions, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
I think that's going to be it for the day. I think that's going to be it for the day.
Your Honor, at this time, the Commonwealth would move to submit the certified medical records from Beth Israel Deaconess in Plymouth for Cora Clancy, Dawson Clancy, and Callan Clancy in one binder.
No objection.
All right, they may be admitted.
You could approach sidebar.
Yes.
Sidebar, talking about sidebar. Sorry, couldn't help it. I told you guys it was going to be a short night, an hour and 11 minutes, and I think we're done if my memory serves correct. And we will be back on Monday evening. I am really hoping that y'all have a fabulous weekend. I'll be in Eagle Pass, Texas, on the border of Texas and Mexico. And I'm going to go do a photo shoot for quinceañera with a horse, a beautiful horse. And then I've got a glow in the morning and I'm going to give a testimony and then about the floods. And then I'm going to go do the photo shoot and it's a 3-hour drive, a good 3-hour drive. And then I'm going to go probably maybe gamble for about an hour. See if I can take $100 and see if I can win anything. I don't know. I may not. But they do have a casino. And then I'll do the photo shoot and then I'll drive home. Probably won't get home till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And then I got church Sunday and then I've got to clean house Sunday. Sunday's got to be my cleaning day and getting ready for next week. And then we'll be live on Monday. And now that we're monetized, I'm going to start having my members only live in August. So y'all become a member. Do you know what? I didn't do the likes because it was a short live. So everybody that's in today, you automatically get an entry. So Miss Java Queen, if you guys have not made a comment and you want to be in the drawing for a $25 gift card sponsored by Red Dog Ranch, it is a $25 gift card by Amazon. And yep, that's it. They go bye-bye. $25 gift card from Amazon. Make sure you quickly just make a comment I like down below. I'm not going to do a drawing. Everybody who's commented right now, it's only been Honey, me, and Java Queen. So just say me. Just say anything in comments and I'll get you in. Until Monday, y'all have a fabulous evening, and we will be back with a full day of court Monday evening at 5:30. Now, remember, guys, be safe. Enjoy it. The summer's almost over. Get out and get some sun. Enjoy it, and have a great weekend. Until Monday night, see ya. Thank you, honey, for modding. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time.